Top of the morning to you, Nonstop Nation. American Airlines is the only US airline that has kept an international first class cabin. Other US airlines like to claim they offer first class, but don't let the sweet name fool ya. These are business class products just like on American. So the most luxurious way to fly with a US carrier should be in American Airlines first class. And I was thrilled to have the chance to try it after an incredible fare popped up out of Casablanca. The experience was surprising in many ways. It was just as bad as I had feared in some ways, but also much better than I'd expected in others. One surprising onboard feature was among the best I've ever had on a plane, and only one other airline in the world offers it. So I'm excited to share this with you, my friends. Let's dive right in. After spending a day in Casablanca building so much excitement for my upcoming group trip to Morocco next year, details are in the description if you're interested, I flew up to Madrid on the first leg of this ticket. I spent a day there exploring before flying up to London, where Oscar and I spent another night after enduring the chaos of Europe's worst major airport, Heathrow. Just when we landed, they were reporting 4-hour waits at immigration, 45-minute waits for bags, etc. We even had to wait 45 minutes to disembark the aircraft because immigration was so crowded. Anyway, the morning after, it was all peace. It was time to head to New York to spend some quality time with my family. I took the Heathrow Express from London Paddington to Terminal 5, and it's good to know that American Airlines currently flies to all destinations apart from New York out of Terminal 3. So unless you're flying to New York, you won't have the same departure experience as this. Upon arrival at the airport, I headed to the British Airways first class check-in area, where American Airlines has one cute little desk. The lady checking us in was lovely, and we were on our way to the lounge in no time. This private check-in area takes you straight to the lounge, which is not to be confused with their actual first class lounge, the Concorde room. It's a very confusing system, and it's good to know that anyone with a valid same-day first class ticket can access the Concorde room regardless of status. This lounge is much better than the so-called first class lounge, and has high class service with good food, comfortable private seating, and beautiful views of the terminal and the outside. One amenity they both have in common though: snooty upper class people who are judging your every move. At this point, my anxiety was building, not only because I was anticipating a rough flight service-wise, but also because I was intending to charm the crew so they couldn't possibly be angry at me if they caught me reviewing the flight, because this is something you can kind of get in trouble for on US airlines. Of course, I didn't want to reveal I was making a review because I never let airlines know beforehand, so I did a little bit of research with my flight attendant friends, and the unanimous message was this: buy the crew fancy shareable chocolates. So I did. Then I headed to the B gates, hurried to B34, and hopped on board. American Airlines Boeing 777-300ER is the largest aircraft in their fleet, and it's remarkably premium heavy. Between doors 1 and 2, there are 2 rows of first class and 2 rows of business class, both in a 1-2-1 configuration, and although this is focusing on first class, this forward mini cabin is the best place to sit if you're flying in business. Although they have the same number of seats across in business and first class, the first class seats are definitely more spacious. I selected 2J while I put Oscar over in 2D. This is definitely the best way to sit if you want to be able to talk to the person next to you while also having a view out, but there are no seats to really avoid in this cabin, so feel free to choose as you wish if you're lucky to be experiencing this as well. I'd seen this seat so many times walking past it from economy that it felt kind of strange actually sitting down in it. I got that first class feeling that I get every time I'm lucky to fly first class, where I'm just in awe of how much personal space I have during the first few minutes when I'm on board. There was an enormous bag of bedding and a duvet waiting on the seat, and another set with a pillow and blanket for more casual use. There was also an amenity kit that was pretty cool looking and had some fantastic contents. I really appreciate US Airlines for their practical amenity kits: tissues, a pen, a truly enormous eye mask that blocks 100% of the light. These are things I find myself needing on every single flight. By the way, if you want one of these these amenity kits for yourself, please help me out by liking my new Facebook page. I know it might sound random, why is he promoting a Facebook page? I'm gonna start posting there as well, so please head over. I'm trying to reach 10,000 likes and you'll be entered automatically to win a first class amenity kit from American for free. I have 2 brand new unopened ones to give out. Looking around the seat a bit more, there were also 2 wipes in this little storage area and a USB port. Speaking of charging, there's a small cabinet with 2 power ports, another USB port, the headphone jack, and some insane old-fashioned outlets. Does anyone use these? This little spot is not for storage since the door doesn't really lock and things fall out, but there is a mirror inside so you can see what a mess you look in my case or how stunning you look in your case. And there was a remote for the entertainment system underneath. There's also this cool detachable remote which controls the seat recline and swivel functions. When I settled in, the crew came by to ask if I'd like pajamas and headphones, which I agreed to, but there was no other pre-departure service, not even drinks. More on all that shortly as you enjoy this departure footage from a typically cloudy London. After we took off, I had a look through the menu. Now, there's no indication that you could eat whenever you want, also known as dine on demand, which is pretty much available on every first class product I've ever tried, and the crew didn't mention it either, so as soon as we took off, all 7 passengers in first class were served their meals. Oh boy, the food. Where do I start? As you could probably tell by the menu, this is the kind of food you'd expect at a cheesecake factory, but not in first class. The menu isn't the bad part. Let's see how everything is served. The drinks, including champagne, are served in plastic cups in first class. No big deal, I guess. The food, however, comes out like this, all on one tray with the plastic still on. They say the plastic is for quote-unquote COVID safety, but even if they wanted to still use the plastic, let me show you what the presentation could be like if they had done it like another airline, and this that I'm showing right now is in business class. On a $10,000 ticket, people get a meal that looks like it was found outside the Cheesecake Factory in a dumpster and wrapped in some sort of pre-used plastic, all on one tray, which is genuinely unheard of in international first class. Everyone's meals looked like this too. I wish I was joking. So what about the actual food? The starter was a somewhat Thai-inspired salad with a side of salad. This was served with a side of mixed fruit for dessert. And what do we call mixed fruit now again? Oh yeah, fruit salad. So to summarize, the meal was salad. The main course came out like this, and at least it tasted good. That's all I'll say. This is what I ate in Emirates economy 1 month ago. Which tomato gnocchi would you prefer? One more word on this, I'm sorry, but oh my god, the mango in this dessert was rock hard. It tasted like frozen mango infused water. At least the raspberries were delicious until I found a live insect on one of them. That's right, my camera couldn't really catch it. I feel like all of this is an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm and I'm Larry David, but listen, when you fly first class, you have to be able to expect a certain standard. And honestly, I had no expectations of American first class, so there was no way for me to really be disappointed, but yeah, there you have it. That's the meal on American Airlines' flagship route in first class. After the meal, I went to the toilet and it was clean. I liked the wood, but there were no special decorations, amenities, toiletries, or anything like that. Leaving the lavatory, I had a hilarious and bizarre interaction with the cabin crew. The female flight attendant was from Mississippi. I don't want to give out her real name, but it was basically equivalent to Jackie Jackson. She was hilarious in a sort of inappropriate way, and she struck up a conversation about my hair. I'm being 100% serious when I quote her as saying, "You and your partner have the most stunning hair. Mine looks like a bird's nest, but it's even worse that I haven't got my Botox in a while. I mean, I have to sleep upside down like a bat to look young." So, speaking of hair, today's video is sponsored by Keeps. They help the 2 in 3 men who will experience male pattern baldness with affordable, generic versions of FDA-approved medications that stop hair loss in its track, allowing us to message their doctors 24/7 if we have any questions or concerns. Since hair loss treatments can take 4 to 6 months to take effect and we all want to be complimented by Jackie Jackson, it's best to start our treatments before we start noticing our hair is getting too thin. And I'm thrilled because Keeps is offering you guys a full 50% off your first order at keeps.com/nonstop. That's keeps.com/nonstop to stop worrying about losing any more of that stunning hair. When I got back from that interaction, it was time to get some work done. And some of you already know what makes working in American Airlines First Class so special. This ain't no regular onboard office. There's a desk. Okay, cool, but what makes it so unique is that the chair swivels to face the window. So there you are at 35,000 feet, sitting with your laptop and typing as you look out over the clouds and the passing landscapes. I wasn't prepared for just how special this would feel. And this is the one thing that makes American Airlines First Class special, because the only other commercial aircraft that offers this is the Singapore Airlines new A380 First Class suites. It's genuinely so cool. Now, to get work done, American Airlines does offer in-flight Wi-Fi to help, and the rates are as follows. $35 for a full flight unlimited pass, which isn't necessarily cheap, but it's still a good deal. If you don't want to work, you can always take a nap. As mentioned earlier, American Airlines provides pajamas, and I actually love them. They have a convenient belly pocket, they're normal sized unlike most other airline pajamas, the pants are tapered, and overall, they just look good. They also provide these cute but basic slippers, which I'll be rocking on the New York subway for fall/winter fashion 2021. I asked dear Jackie Jackson for some help with making my bed, and she obliged, and we ended up having another long conversation about everything from her love for Dolly Parton to preferred sleeping position to recommended plastic surgeons. The bedding on American is provided by Caspar with a thick mattress pad, a comfy duvet, and a nice pillow. American keeps their cabins at quite a cool temperature, which I personally love, and they have individual air vents for additional temperature control. While in bed, I decided to check out the entertainment system, and here again, I was positively surprised. I love how the video started out negative and now it's bam, 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 so many positives in a row. But the entertainment system is huge. I'd say it rivals the best in the world in terms of American content, and I love the way they categorize different shows, making it easy to find something super interesting to watch. The entertainment system made me discover The Morning Show, which is a new obsession, and my plans to work quickly disappeared. Of course, laying in bed and watching good shows makes you hungry, so I asked if they had any more food, and this is what my pre-arrival meal looked like. Unfortunately, it looked better than it tasted. Again, the presentation is just rough, and this time there wasn't even a tablecloth. So we descended into New York, and that's always when the fun truly begins. Bring on the bubble tea, the Chinatown culinary pleasures, and emotional family roller coasters. Although there are so many underwhelming elements of American Airlines First Class and so many elements that are on par with business class at best or economy class at worst, I really enjoyed the flight. Maybe not in the traditional sense where a first class flight feels like non-stop fun, but it was just comfortable, the crew was in a good mood, and nothing bad happened. So yeah, I can't complain. Would I recommend this first class? Absolutely not. Would I choose any other first class over this? Absolutely. Was the catering and the entire meal setup embarrassing? It sure was. Are there any redeeming qualities that make this worth trying? 1. The desk. Still, I think it's important to clarify expectations here. American Airlines barely advertises their international flagship first class at all. I've also never heard a single person on this planet rave about it. They also make it easy to access with upgrades or on award tickets, So this goes back to expectations. Why am I somehow less disappointed with this objectively terrible first class flight than I was with my luxurious Swiss first class flight in May? Because so many people rave about Swiss, and the airline tries to make their first class seem ultra luxurious and exclusive when it's actually not. At least American are honest when they don't promise unparalleled luxury and 5-star service. If you have the choice, fly another airline, but if you end up on American, make the best of it. Even though this is among the worst first class products in the world, it's still first class, so you can't really hate it. Once again, if you want to win an amenity kit or just help me out, please head over to Facebook and like my new page. And until I see you all for a new educational video very soon, fly safe guys. I'm off for some New York City bubble tea.